22 in My Side of the Mountain, a Newbery Honor book by Jean Craighead George. So let's start, okay? Wait, excuse, yeah, okay. So what I wanted to talk about was spring. How do you think that Sam was feeling about spring? And why do you think that the owl broke the spell of winter? Also, do you think that the mountains are more beautiful in spring or in the winter? And this might change because the winter is really nice too, right? A little hard to survive, but still, just, looking at them. Also, but then one day, Sam was digging up tubers and stuff, and suddenly Frightful took off. And Sam kept on whistling and all that, but and finally Frightful came back, right? How do you think that Sam felt about this? And do you think that Frightful would be able to survive without Sam? But then someone said, "You're a wild boy," right? And there's this person, right? We learned that his name is Matt. And what do you think about Matt? How would you describe him? And did you think that Matt would buy the story, or did you know that this wasn't gonna work out? And this is the beginning of my story's end. So did you think that Matt was gonna rat Sam out? Also, why do you think that Sam, do you think that it was right for Sam to tell a lie about this? Or do you think it was not right of him? Anyway, so Matt, okay, so what I wanted to talk about him was, so he wants to become a reporter, right? And to do that, he's going to have to report things, right? And so, but Matt doesn't tell the Catskill people, right? Do you think that this is, why do you think that Matt doesn't, when this could be his dream job, right? And also, do you think that it was a good idea that Sam invited Matt? Or Sam allowed Matt to come? And also, I wanted to ask you about Jessie. Were you surprised that it was a she Jessie, not a he Jessie? Or did you expect that? And do you like raccoons? Just very curious. Okay, but anyway, now he also had a forum, right? In his mind, and there were these people, and for the first time, Frightful spoke, right? And the last sentence was this: "I like you better when you don't talk," I said, pulled the deer hide over me, and fell into a deep sleep. But anyway, what Frightful said, right? Do you think this makes sense? And do you think that Sam wants to be found or not? Okay, now chapter 21. In which I cooperate with the ending. What did you think about this? About this title? Do you think that? But anyway, let's keep on going, okay? So, what do you think about? What do you think about Aaron? And we begin to see that all his songs are by birds, right? Were you surprised about that? And do you think that this is actually possible, and that if you study birds, then maybe you could actually make songs out of them? Or do you think it's just impossible? And also, I wanted to ask you about Matt, right? And what do you think that Matt felt about this place? Well, of course, it sort of shows, but still. And do you think that Matt wanted to live in this place, or he would just want to visit this place? And also, what did you think about the description of Matt's hat anyway? And why do you think that Sam didn't protest when they made another guest tree, even though he didn't want it to be found? And do you think that he really did want to be found? And then, on another time, Mr. Jacket came. what did you think about this trip? And do you think that Sam's really getting lonely up there in the mountains? And also, Banda was a little sad, right, at the end of chapter 21. Why do you think he was sad? And if you were Banda, would you be sad or would you be excited? And then the last chapter, which is in which the city comes to me. So, anyway, it was an awesome June day, but then Dad came, right? So he was running toward but then I heard but then Sam heard sounds of a lot of people, so he went running back up, and then he was like, hey, and then he went back down, right? So, if you had been Sam, would you have ran to Dad and been famous, or would you have ran away? And also, then we found out that Dad brought the family. How did you feel about that? How do you think that Sam felt about this? And also, do you think that Sam's dad and mom, do you think that they were worried about Sam in any way, or do you think that they were happy about Sam? And also, we realized that this wasn't going to be just an overnight camping trip, right? They were going to live here. Were you surprised about the sudden decision? And if you had been Sam, would you have protested or not? And also, what do you think about Sam's mother's decision? And if you had been Sam's mother, would you have done the same thing? And would you be also embarrassed, or would you have just ignored all those mean comments about everything? And I also wanted to ask you about something, and it was actually about Sam, okay? And what I wanted to ask you was, well, not exactly about Sam, but the Catskills, right? The Catskills, he survived on the Catskills, right? Do you think that you could survive? And if you could, then how would you plan everything out? Would you live in a tree, or would you live in somewhere else? Like a tree house, like in a tree or on top of the tree. Both ways work, right? So how would you, if you had to live in the mountains, or at least just survive in the mountains, then how would you survive in the mountains? And which mountain range would you go to? So this may require some research. Excuse me. I wanted to just tell you that Jean Craig George, she is so much of an amazing author. She's made 2 books in the My Side of the Mountain series. They're both amazing. I have read them both, and they're amazing. And then there's also Julie and the Wolves, which has won a Newbery Medal. A Newbery Medal is like the best of the best of the best books that kids should read. And this is a Newbery Honor book. And in my opinion, and maybe in your opinion, this book was so good, right, guys? So, what do you think that Jean Craig George's Julie of the Wolves will be about? But anyway, there are some other books, but these are the pretty famous books. So I hope that you check those books out. And lastly, I wanted to ask you about Sam, right? Do you think that this adventure, do you think that this was sounded pretty fictional and fake, and that no kid could really have pulled off all that? Or do you think that it's realistic? And does this book inspire you in any way? It sure inspired me to go into the mountains. And I actually did. So, I read, this is my about 4th time reading this amazing book. I never get tired of it. And anyway, and I went to the mountains one day. I was reading this book, and I got a great idea. So I wanted to live in the mountains. So I might actually do that. But enough about me and about you. Okay, so are you a city person or are you a country person? Just curious because Sam is a country person, right? So I just wanted to ask you. Okay, so we've finished the amazing book of My Side of the Mountain. Oh, that was a great book, right guys? So I just wanted to ask you some last questions, like what was your favorite part in these chapters and then the whole book? How did you like this amazing book? What do you predict is going to happen next? And you'll see later in book 2, which I think is The Far Side of the Mountain. Oh, right? Pretty cool, the title. And who is your least favorite character and your favorite character? And I just hope that you had an awesome, amazing time with me and the amazing book, My Side of the Mountain. This is one of like my top 10 books to read. And I hope that you read this book over and over and over again. And you'll always discover something new. And you'll always enjoy it. You'll never get sick of it, okay guys? Hope that you have an amazing day, rest of your day or night, and just read a lot of books and have fun with them because books are just amazing. And for the people who have stuck around, I just wanted to say that I also have book clubs on Wish, and then also and there's also Walk Two Moons. And then right here I got The Secret Garden. And then also Escape from Mr. Limoncello's Library. And then there's PAX. And then also I got PAX 2, which is actually PAX Journey Home. So I'm also doing that. And excuse me. Okay, and I also got Number the Stars, an amazing book, and not literally numbering the stars, but still, it is really amazing. And then A Single Shard, and I don't have the book here right now, but I do have other books. Well, a lot of other books, but I've also done the Penderwicks, and sorry, but I've done a lot, so, oh yeah, and also Rules, and The Incredible Journey of Coyote Sunrise, and Petey, and some more, right? And also I am coming up with new book clubs every day, so hopefully you had a great time with me again, and bye!